Alright, howdy everyone. My name is Armand Montezeri. I'm a part of Group 15, and today we will talk to you about breakdancing, the history of breakdancing, its social implications, cultural implications, and many more. We hope you enjoy our video, and without further ado, let's get started.
Howdy, I am Monica Marino, and I will be presenting Breakdancing by Group 15. First, we're going to talk about what exactly breakdancing is. So, breakdancing is an athletic type of street dancing, and it's also known as b-boying or breaking. Breakdancing consists of four main types of movement. These include the top rock, the down rock, freezes, and power moves. Breakdancing is typically performed to hip-hop music or funk music, but nowadays it can also be performed to different types of music as long as it has a certain tempo or a beat. And breakdancers, they're called b-boys, b-girls, or breakers. So specific types of breakdancing elements include the main four. First is a top rock, which is a sequence of steps done while standing. A drop, which is a transition from top rock to down rock to a power move. A down rock is dance moves that are done with the hands and the feet on the floor. Power moves are dance moves that involve the entire body and precise coordination. So examples of this are the head spin, the windmill. Freezes. Freezes are poses that involve the dancer to be suspending himself off the floor and happens when strong beats at the end of a set are needed to be signaled. And footwork are using both hands and feet to make footwork patterns. So the history of breakdancing. This dance style was invented in the Bronx borough of New York by African American and Latina American youth during the late 1960s and early 1970s. During this time, the 70s and the 80s, it evolved to move to the major cities across the U.S. The famous musician James Brown greatly influenced many of the moves seen in breakdancing. Through his song, he popularized the style of dancing in 1966. It is called the Get on the Good Foot. The acrobatic moves of breakdancing come from martial arts moves developed by street gangs. And the first record of breakdancing was actually by Thomas Edison in 1898, who saw a street performer doing head spins. DJ Kool Herc created breakdancing competition by looping breaks together. So the cultural background of breakdancing includes that it comes from very diverse backgrounds in the U.S. So minority groups in ethnic neighborhoods in the South Bronx area of New York City started dancing during times of oppression. Breakdancing originally began as a method for rival gangs to compromise territorial disputes, and it is actually still greatly influenced by African American and Hispanic populations. Gender roles in breakdancing. So breakdancing is known for being powerful, aggressive, and a fast dance. It started off as a replacement for gang fights. So females in breakdancing was never normalized. Like I said, it was for gang fights, so it's described as a language of battle. And it is considered unfit for women. Though girls who breakdance, known as beat girls, they're still welcome to the breakdancing community, but it's just not as common for them to join because most people think that girls don't have the strength, aggression, or the speed that the dance requires. However, in the past 20 years, women in breakdancing have become more commonplace. Social implications of breakdancing include that breakdancing allows people from different ethnic backgrounds to express identity outside of the boundaries of society. Breakdancing, unlike many hobbies and extracurriculars, it does not require any extra equipment, so it makes it really accessible to people who can't afford it, such as the lower class or in poverty. It makes it available to all financial classes and situations. The art of breakdancing encourages creative freedom and departure from the societal norm, which allows for growth and unique identity. Breakdancing is also used as a way to combat the struggles marginalized urban youth face by forcing them to channel themselves into something productive and creative. And breakdancing is also very prevalent in the party scene, so you can see breakdancing at many nightclubs and parties.
Alright guys, first off I'm going to talk to you about the impacts of breakdancing. So breakdancing influenced many modern dance styles such as disco and hip-hop. But since breakdancing was developed by street gangs, it became associated with gang violence for a brief time during the early to mid-1970s.
Since the 70s, breakdancing has spread to countless regions around the world, such as the United Kingdom, the Middle East, Korea, South Africa, and many more. In fact, breakdancing has recently been added to the 2018 Youth Olympic Games. So very soon you will be able to see a live broadcast of breakdancing competitions. And also today, breakdancing culture is a remarkable discipline somewhere in between those of dancers and athletes. This is known because we all know how physically demanding breakdancing can be. So it is essentially that intersection between dancing and athletic performances. So now let's talk about the setting and music of breakdancing. So although breakdancing originated in the streets, it can be done in almost any available space. Most breakdancers look for spaces where they can be seen and where they can draw an audience. Places such as parks, parties, schoolyards, and indoors are some of the many settings where you can find breakdancing. Many of the youths that helped originate breakdancing were former members of street gangs, and they would always battle in the open to call witnesses. You will see breakdancing mainly in urban neighborhoods because of the open space and the amount of people that watch. Fast-paced and up-tempo hip-hop style of music is used in the background of breakdancing. The nature of hip-hop coincides with the acrobatic moves and rhythm of breakdancing. So now let's talk about fashion and clothing, which is another integral part of breakdancing. Breakdancing demands freedom of movement, and usually breakdancers try to avoid wearing baggy or loose clothing since it could interfere with their acrobatic moves. So rather, they choose light footwear with good grip. Breakdancers typically wear functional athletic clothing such as Adidas or Puma. Breakdancers do, however, choose their hats and shoe design to match their clothes for an overall look, or to match with their group or crew. Breakdancers sometimes line their hats with bandanas and wear wristbands for protection during power moves and freezes. Breakdancers generally don't put much extreme effort into their clothing, as many prefer to break spontaneously without extensive preparation. So breakdancing in modern entertainment. Breakdancing is used in many forms of entertainment today. Even though it started as a street art, it eventually evolved to be featured on different forms of media. So naturally, breakdancing was used in a lot of music videos during the 1980s, such as Clay Max's Meeting in the Ladies' Room and the song Hey You by the breakdancing and hip-hop group The Rocksteady Crew. It was also prominently featured in many hip-hop themed movies such as Beat Street and Wild Style. But perhaps the most well-known movie that featured breakdancing in the 21st century is the Step Up series. Some other notable breakdancing films include Stomp the Yard and You Got Served, which are some of my personal favorites, and I highly recommend them. Also, at the end of the 1984 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles, there was a live broadcast of breakdancing where millions of people could see the beautiful artwork of breakdancing. On TV, there are numerous dance competitions that you may see in different shows, such as America's Best Dance Crew, where breakdancing is sometimes performed. Lastly, fun fact actually, Pope John Paul II was treated to a breakdancing performance at the Vatican in 2004. This can be seen in the bottom hand right part of the slide. Some famous breakdancers include Adam Savani, Physics, Zico, Channing Tatum, Chris Brown, and Michael Jackson. So, who is Adam Savani? Adam Savani is an American breakdancer, and he's also an actor. He's appeared in films such as Step Up, which is another movie that Channing Tatum played in. Physics and Zico are other notable professional breakdancers who have really proven themselves in the breakdancing industry and are considered one of the top 3 best breakdancers in today's society. And then next we have Channing Tatum, who is a very well-known actor and who is also considered one of the great breakdancers today. Next we have Chris Brown, who is a hip-hop and rap R&B singer, and Chris Brown is also a very, very talented breakdancer, and he actually attributes a lot of his success to the great Michael Jackson. And lastly, of course, the legendary Michael Jackson has been one of the pioneers of breakdancing as well. Next, I will show you guys a live televised performance of breakdancing from the 1980s. I hope you enjoy.
Ho boys, ho girls, the New York City Breaker.
Howdy everyone, it's me again. To conclude this presentation, I'm going to briefly demonstrate to you breakdancing and its fundamentals. So first off, you see a lot of breakdancers starting with moves like this, very fluid moves to express their deeper emotions and feelings, right? And they'll typically run in place, walk in place. You'll see a lot of this sort of movement. And then what I'm about to do here is the typical standard 6-step move on the ground. So where they start right here, go like this. So these are a few of the typical moves that many breakdancers do. The acrobatic moves that you'll see are typically the head spins, which I personally am not able to do. But let me just do a faster version of the 6-step for me to demonstrate. That's it.